Welcome to the show.
From Atlanta, Fulton County.
We're storming the Capitol. It's a revolution.
Purple color I see. Then you maintain the status.
December 7th, 19...
I'm gonna question a psychopath.
I got named.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the show. Let's get to the screen. Hi, everybody, we're here.
Hello.
This is Keith Paesel here with Adam, a special Adam show.
Absolutely.
Saturday.
That song, it gets me going. It gets the juices flowing, Keith.
Oh,
it
yeah.
Works. It works.
Absolutely.
I like when my mind goes on tangents.
I like to calm everybody down a little bit with the elevator music, and then we get right back up. But welcome to the show. We're going to be watching a little television, talking about the world and ourselves through what is on television.
Awesome.
We just did a beautiful show on Thursday. Hopefully you're watching that on YouTube, listening to that on all the platforms. But there's a lot of things that happened. Gallagher died. The voice of Batman died. My childhood is crying.
Who else died too before that?
Gallagher.
Oh, yeah. Gallagher died, man.
Famous inventor.
Wow. Gallagher. I mean, that was like when
I always call him that because he was on Opie and Anthony, and he was like, I'm an inventor. Talking about all the, like, he's not a comedian, he's like an inventor and a scientist. He was out of his mind.
Oh, yeah. No, I know some people who met him a couple times. I also, when I first started doing stand-up, like when you wanted to really burn someone, you talk about their act, they'd be like equivalent of Gallagher, like a total hack. That was he was deemed like a real hack, just like, basically spinning plates, putting a quarter in his back.
You're spinning plates, dog.
And thumping the tambourines.
Brother.
You know what I mean? That's so Gallagher, but yeah, Gallagher died. Gallagher did something though. I remember Gallagher like the early 80s.
He had 13 specials. I think only him and Carlin have more specials. He's got 13. He did 13 in like 9 years.
I was going to say, when was his last one?
It had to be 1994.
Oh, I'm going to guess. I don't know if he made it even to the 90s. I could be wrong.
Into the 90s.
I could be wrong.
Let's see. Let's look at Gallagher's discography.
I think I'm going to say 1988 or 89 was his last one. But I'm probably wrong. You're probably right.
Let's go to this.
Because I think it'd be interesting to know because, yeah, he had a bunch of specials. There was a time when HBO did nothing but Gallagher. I mean, they had a lot of Gallagher.
Well, Gallagher's sicky. Well, his first special, I read in his Wikipedia, was the first one to be on regular television. So 1980 was the first one. The last one was Tropic of Gallagher, 2007.
Whoa! And what was before that?
Sledge-o-matic.com from the year 2000. And then it was Messing Up Texas, 1998. Wow. Smashing Cheeseheads, 1997. I bet that's in Wisconsin.
That's in Wisconsin, obviously.
We Need a Hero, 92. Overboard, 87. Overboard's the one I remember. Like, my dad had that recorded.
Wow.
The Messiest, 19, contains clips of previous specials. He had a greatest hits special. 80s just called An Uncensored Evening because Gallagher was pretty hardcore. Like for the time, Gallagher was like, he was like slightly edgy, and later on in the years would just get outright homophobic.
Oh, I could believe that. I mean,
he didn't age well.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I remember there was a comedy festival. God, when was this? This was like a good probably 20 years ago. He was in Chicago. And I knew a couple of comedians who were performing female comics, and they were hanging out with Gallagher. He was in town for this festival, and they have video of him just checking them out, like elevator eyeing them, looking directly at their asses, looking at their pussies, looking at their breasts, just like looking at it all. And I was like, wow, this guy's a creep.
Yeah, he had
like
his hammer out.
And he was all just like just the way he'd speak. I was like, your brain is pickled or something.
I love when comics die because all the comedy clubs, like you go to a comedy club and they'll tell you all the dirt on people. This person gropes, like all the sickos.
Yeah.
And then the second they die, one of the family passed today. He was always beloved in our heart. Like, you fucking shill.
Oh, dude.
Gallagher wasn't. The Comedy Store today, a beloved member of the family died. Like, all of you fuckers hate Gallagher.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
All you young. Yeah, I'm sure the Zoomers were really in touch with Gallagher. They're fucking wiping his name off the side of that building right now.
Yeah, he was.
Look at that Orange Crush t-shirt. That rules.
Whoa, man. What year is that, I wonder?
Circa 1970s.
Yeah. That's probably late 70s.
I used to just stand out on the street, man, and just,
Yeah, literally. I mean.
You know that hair was fake?
Oh, it was?
Yeah, there's one of his specials where he takes it off. It's like a piece.
And he's just full on bald?
Yeah.
Oh, he must have been pretty creepy, right? I mean, he had to be a creep, right? I mean,
yeah.
You're right. He probably did make the leap from like street performer
Look at that.
to being on HBO in 6 months.
That's not a bad looking guy right there. To be quite honest with you, not my type. I mean, most men aren't my type.
He looks a bit like a De Niro.
You hear that?
Godfather
You hear
2.
that, boys?
Yeah, you're putting that one out there,
You need to look like Larry. If you want to.
Yeah. I never liked Gallagher.
I like my men to look like a Latina gal.
I was.
But look what he turned into. That looks like a drunk cop that's retired on St. Patrick's Day.
Well, dude, here's the hat. He's Gallagher. Think of the life he had. Just doing road gig after road gig after road gig.
He's at a cop's funeral.
I mean, he must have made a decent living.
Imagine that guy sitting in a fucking Irish pub and you hear this.
I say I'm Gallagher. Oh, Gallagher's way. Oh, going to Gallagher. God, was that actually a Notre Dame highlight film song?
No, that's a good
like
song,
from
though,
52
right?
or something, I
got a short one. Listen to this.
Oh, here we are. We're having so much fun.
That's Rest in Peace Gallagher.
How old was he? Let me guess. I'm going to guess. 76.
Did you not read that?
No,
he was 76 on the dot.
Oh,
dude.
yeah, okay. I didn't see it.
His manager, Craig Marquardo. Let's look at how bad was this guy's career. He's repping Gallagher. Let's look and see who you working for, Craig. Oh, he just pulls up Gallagher. Look at this guy. This guy looks like fucking John Moxley.
Oh, man. Some of these managers and shit.
Look at that.
Wow.
Started his career as an executive for Warner Brothers in the early 90s, and now he's repping Gallagher.
Oh.
Overseeing some of the biggest hits, The Bodyguard, Free Will. This is the face of a man who didn't survive Me Too.
Yeah, he was one of the low-level casualties of Me Too.
Yeah.
You didn't hear about him. The ripple effect.
He
Me
called
Too.
Weinstein.
Yeah.
They're coming for us, Harv. The line cut out halfway through.
I watched some of that HBO Weinstein documentary or PBS documentary.
Hey, you know his balls were on his thigh? He had thigh balls.
Who, Weinstein?
Weinstein had some sort of weird fucking like gangrene that fucking tore up his genitals. And they had to take his balls and put them on his thigh.
God.
Inside of his thigh. He had a mangled penis.
No wonder that drove him to be so uber successful. You know what I mean? It was
or just like that's why you'd probably want women to fucking watch you because all his shit is like here's how it came out during the trial. That's how he proved he didn't rape any women because he was like, Your Honor, my penis is actually mangled and it looks like an old sailor's foot, so there's no way for me to physically rape anybody. And because his whole thing was like, watch me shower, or like watch, like it was all that type of shit, real hard power dynamic stuff.
Yeah, wasn't he like going and giving like his big thing was the back rub too? Yeah, that's why he wanted to get a foot in the door was the back rub. It was like Sandusky going into the showers.
But man,
that was his thing. Was
thigh balls.
Yeah, that's you're fucked up. I mean, whatever. Anyone who's that driven has got problems. There's just something going on. You're overcompensating. You got problems.
I knew a boy with one testicle, and
Yeah.
we were like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Oh, I'm sure.
I can imagine if to have not even one and it's on your thigh. Come on. But yeah, we're going back to the box.
Yeah, no kidding.
Going back to the box.
Yeah. So
How much else has been used?
here we go.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. He's third in the league.
So let's get into it. We're going to be watching a little television, talking about the world, making fun of the world and ourselves through what is on television. We've just covered Gallagher. Gallagher joined the show just a few minutes ago.
Yeah,
I've been doing that. Anyone we talk about is a guest on the show.
Okay.
Welcome Chris Hayre to the podcast, everybody.
So I'm gonna
It's
rip
just
some-
like Chargers breakdown.
Oh
Chargers
yeah,
film room.
CBS. Well, because it's bolts on too. Bolt up.
Okay.
Yeah. Just, hey, they're going
I
to be
have
playing
to admit,
zone. I'm going to
I watch a lot of
zone.
Viking film. I watch a lot of Viking film. I do.
Crocious. I mean, you've had quarterbacking in your past. You had Randall Cunningham. You had
Yeah.
Warren Moon.
Yeah.
You had fucking Whiskey Wade. You had gunslingers as a Viking fan.
Tommy Kramer, Tequila Tommy, second most yards in Viking history. I'm sorry, probably second most.
I love that all the quarterbacks have whiskey names because that's how they keep warm in the Minnesota winters.
In the 80s, the 80s, a lot of drunk quarterbacks in the 80s.
Hockey players.
A lot of alcoholism in athletics, which I kind of respect. Baseball players, man. I mean, come on. Those guys were drunks. I remember that one. You probably don't remember this. Terry Forster was a pitcher for the Atlanta Braves, and Letterman did an entire segment on Terry Forster being the fattest human being ever, and he just made fun of it, and he talked about it incessantly. It became a thing in like 1986, 85. My point is that you could be a drunk as a ball player. You could be a drunk as an athlete back then.
Still kind of can.
It's all, man. Everything is so
It's
high.
so woke mob. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's
Got a
just
big
like
Tejas game right now.
everyone's watching you. There's a lot of money at stake. You're going to want to keep your body in decent shape, and even in the off season. Again, I always talk about that. I think I bring it up every episode. Is athletes back in the day, like Bart Starr sold Firestone tires in the off season. This is Bart Starr.
Oh, my grandpa was a machinist.
Yeah.
Like fucking Christian Bale in that murder movie. He worked with Brian Piccolo in the off seasons.
Wow.
Said Brian Piccolo, I think I've said this on the show before, he walked like he had ball bearings in his shoes.
He was 26 when he died.
Yeah. And he needed a summer job.
Yeah, I know. Because he had 3 kids.
George Hallis wasn't typing up that much.
Hallis was a
I wanted
tightwad.
to quote you through the TV because so in sports, we got some collegiate football going on. Jeff Saturday got hired to be the new Indianapolis Colts coach.
Yeah.
I'm loving it's like the Bears became smart and gave their stupidity to other franchises. It's tremendous. The Packers are flailing. Jim Irsay has suddenly gone back to the bottle and just drunkenly fucking, I didn't know
and what about Daniel Snyder? His ass is getting kicked out of the league, man.
All these franchises that aren't the Bears are just falling down and I love it.
It is. It's whatever. It's interesting to see. I, for one, this is the truth. I'm halfway through the season. The Vikings are off to. It couldn't be a much better start than what they're off to. They're 7-1, and I've watched them for 45 years. So I'm rather cynical and critical. So I've
got a new joy for the Bears in my heart.
Well, because of Fields.
It's not, and because
there's hope,
and it's a fucking next 10 years hope. Here's what I'm worried about right now, and this might be jumping the gun. I'm worried the Bears aren't going to pay him $300 million when he comes time, because that's how much he's going to cost to save. If all these other quarterbacks get 250, 200, and he hits his ceiling with the ceiling that he's shown in the last 3 weeks, he's going to cost a lot of fucking money to keep around.
Well, he has to, we'll see how he plays second half. I think he's been playing. I mean, they basically, what I like about the Bears season is, to me, it's like they've put the white flag up in the right way. They know they're not going to go anywhere. We're going to get rid of our 2 best defensive players, or 2 of the most important defensive players. We're going to stockpile some picks, and we're going to say, Fields, you just run around and make some plays. The fans will be entertained. He's good. I just want him to be healthy.
Look what we got coming up here. Hopefully it's on.
I just want him to be healthy. That is my only concern, because he is spectacular sometimes.
He's so good.
He is a spectacular runner. And that's truth. I'm very critical. I'm very cynical.
Just to keep note, we got 70s Wonder Woman on right now.
This is personally very, very
Spank
early
bank shit.
Well, I mean, I didn't learn how to wank until I was much older, but I was, that's early feelings of sexuality. Like, I was probably like 7 or 8 when this show first came on. This is when I knew, woman,
Ooh, very caveman.
It was just like, oh.
We got
See,
a little.
Here's a pass that Fields couldn't do. He could not do that one right there. You have to
3 weeks
admit
ago,
it.
no. 3 weeks ago, no.
Yeah.
But even then, even now, it's funny how, and I think Fields was the tipping point of people finally realizing that, like, the NFL needs to change of the rigid, like, we play this way, and you got to be a pocket, like a mailman in the pocket. And I think Fields is showing, like, no, you kind of have to just change to what you have.
Yeah.
You have to adapt.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
No, I
the
agree.
soccer manager mind.
Yeah.
Like I play soccer manager video games, and you have to, like, when you become the manager of a team, you can't just go in there and you're like, this is my system. Like,
Yeah.
you have players that are completely,
Like
they don't know what the
different-
fuck you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to just look at the team. These are the positions they play. I have to play this formation. How can I make my system work within this formation?
Yeah, who do you have? You have to adapt to who you have, and have some capacity to do that. I got news for you. The biggest difference, Cousins, you were talking about quarterbacks.
It's the relationship between the coach.
Yeah, but
I see Colin's point with that with Cousins and O'Connell, because apparently Zimmer and Cousins were just complete antagonists of each other.
That was Spielman's guy. Zimmer never wanted him. So he resented him the entire 4 years he was there, So, but that being said, I'm not drinking his Kool-Aid yet. I think he's had a pretty good season. I mean, statistically, his numbers are down, but that's okay. They're winning, because they're playing good
He's having a good time, though.
What? Yeah, that whole thing,
slinging
too.
some balls, raising a little cane,
saying, "Hey, come on, fellas, rats!" When he gets upset, rats! I got hit hard that play.
Little cane, Kirky cane raising.
But it is watching them again for 45 years. They've beaten the teams. They've caught a lot of breaks. They really have. They've played teams with backup quarterbacks a lot. And you should win games like that. But I don't want to diminish it, because they've won the fucking games, The NFL is designed for all games to be one possession games. That's what they want to have.
It is funny how your cynicism as a Viking fan happened, because when they were 4-1, you were like, they should be 0-5. Like, they were like, aside from the one, they should be 1-4 right now. Even you and Mike Florio was like, they should be 1-5. They could easily. And now that it's 7-1, after that, you were like, the Queens are 7-1, man. Like, now it's almost like, well, I can't shit on that.
Yeah.
So
well,
I'll find some deeper thing to be cynical about. But it's good that you're doing that. You're not. You've been let down too many times.
Well, exactly. And so for me, the way it feels, right. First off, they're coming into a very hard part of their schedule. This is the hardest part of their schedule. They got to play Buffalo on the road, Dallas at home, and then short week Thanksgiving with the Patriots at home. And then they got the Jets at home, though. It's some winnable games in there.
Georgia is rolling Mississippi State.
Well,
boy.
They're great. Georgia's great. But anyway, but with the Vikings, this feels like, Keith, what this feels like to me is a first round playoff loss, ladies and gentlemen, at home all the way too. Hey, are we happy? And they lose at home.
It does seem fitting that, like, the first time coach does kill it in the season, but then, like, it just
teams get better and and they figured some shit out.
Someone made this point, and I've been riding on this, and this is why I'm so optimistic about the Bears. Is a lot of times people fall into the trap of thinking that the second half of the season is going to be just like the first half.
Oh no, yeah.
And even with bets, like, people are taking the Seahawks to cover against the Bucks, and it's just like they're 6-3 right now, but this is the second half of the season.
Yeah.
Tom Brady just fucking finalized his divorce. They got a prenup. He's fucking, his money's safe. Like, he's got a new fire. Like,
his head is clear.
Don't fall into this trap of thinking that the fucking Seahawks are going to go 14-3.
Oh, I know. No, exactly. And I'm not with the Vikings either, because, and I've said this a million times too, the season is 3 seasons. It's the first half, it's the second half, and then it's the playoffs. They're 3 different seasons. So the first half is now officially done. I would say this is the true medium point. So okay, I'm glad they're bankrolling some wins. But if they go 500 and they finish, 11-5 or whatever it is, or 11-6, I guess it would be, I would be satisfied with that. I'd be happy with that. I think that whatever, we'll have to see.
You probably almost do want them to lose a couple games to get it out of their system.
Well, yeah.
You want to go into the playoffs hot. Like, lose 3 in a row and then win your last couple and go in hot.
And this is another thing too, and mark my words on this. They've been relatively healthy the entire season. They have 2 starters now who are actually out. 2 starters of their 22 are actually hurt and out. That's pretty good for halfway through the season. most teams have 4 to 6 to 7 starters out already, so it's the war of attrition. And I've always said this, their backups, I don't know. We'll see. But I think that, they're playing with a lot of confidence. They really are. I mean, they're not really out of any game.
Got a burner here, boy.
I like this. But yeah, I mean, they're playing with confidence. Well, what do you think when you watched a little bit of them? I mean, they came back in that game. You have any opinion on them? I don't know if you give a shit.
Who?
I mean, on the Queens.
Oh, they look good. I do think they don't have quite like Kevin O'Connell hasn't uncorked his explosiveness yet.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, I think, probably thought like you're going to get a lot of Rams, run and gun, rah-rah spread shit. But I think O'Connell is kind of like Getsy, and he's like, kind of got to play with we just got one explosive receiver.
Yep.
So it really is a lot of dink and dunk and a lot of fucking screens and shit.
Trading for Hawkinson, I think, was a good move.
Yeah, that's probably why he did it, because he was like, "Look, we're not spreading the field just yet."
Yep, exactly. And also, you got to attack the middle of the field, and they don't really do that with Hawkinson. They'll be able to do that. So it's going to give them another dimension.
But where I am encouraged is, it's good that your growing pains are 7-1.
Oh, exactly. Yeah,
like you could be 4-4, or 3-4, or whatever.
I mean,
still looking up, but you could be 3-4.
Absolutely. So it's, I think, this will be a humbling weekend, probably. I think they're probably going to lose, but, hey, we'll see how they play. I just want to see how they play,
What's their run defense like?
The run defense is...
Because the Bills don't have a run game. Outside of Josh Allen.
Yeah. They have Singletary, but he's just not that great. I know, because he's on my fantasy team, and my fantasy team blows. After a 3-year run of playoffs, including being in the championship game twice and winning one championship game, I am now in last place, and deservedly so. My team is an abomination to the game of football. But the point is, I think that here are the things they do well. They don't make a lot of bad mistakes. Like, they don't shoot themselves in the foot a lot.
Yeah.
So they don't have a lot of bad penalties. They'll get some on occasion, but not. They don't turn the ball over very much either. You take out the Eagles game. How many times they turn the ball over outside the Eagles game? They've had 4 turnovers outside that game in 7 games. You know what I mean? So they don't really shoot. Also, they're the highest scoring team in the last 4 minutes of the first half, and I think first 4 minutes of the second half. They're the highest scoring team.
Man, you have gone deep.
So it's like.
Do you know about that? This is deep. Do you know about the Vikings staff under O'Connell? Have you learned about their coaching staff?
I mean, I know Donatel's been around forever. He's a
You got to start learning about these coordinators, because if they do good, teams are going to steal them from you.
It's always that way. It's always, and coaching is just a big.
That's my question to you, because you're like my sports guru in a way, because you're older and wiser.
And I've watched a shitload.
When did you remember when did the coordinator become so coveted? Was it Coryell because he got like, oh, there's this new hot shot? Like, when? Because now it seems so like the second a coach gets hired, like, well, if he does well, his staff is just going to get hired. Like, that's an immediate. And I remember as a kid in the 90s, you didn't really care about where people came from before they were a head coach.
Well, I mean, I did. But it wasn't as focused on as it is now. It wasn't as such a storyline you could actually find. And I mean, again, almost all head coaches were just coordinators somewhere else. Chuck Noll was the D coordinator of the Colts, who lost to the Jets in Super Bowl III.
Wasn't Don Shula the offensive
was
coordinator?
He was the head coach. He was the head coach before he went to the Dolphins.
Oh yeah, Weeb Eubank was the Jets.
He was the Jets, exactly. And then Don Shula, who was like the one. He was like he was the young kid coach. They always had that sort of trait. They want the young guy. Shula was that guy. He was 34 years old.
Shula coached until 1997.
Well, Shula was 34 years old. He coached the 63 was it the Browns? Or no, I think it was the 63
Colts. He came up in Paul Brown's system, right?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. Very much so. Very much.
He seems like the root of the coaching tree. Is Paul Brown.
Paul Brown certainly.
Paul Brown seems like the first to have like assistants.
Bill Walsh. Yeah. And they very much they were the first team to do film work. No one else did film work. They would just watch it. Oh, we remember, write some notes down, and they would do film, and they'd watch film. So they also were the first ones that had the microphone from he put the coaches up in the air and not on the sideline, so they could see the game unfold better. Like, that was an innovation. Whoa, Paul Brown was cutting edge. But Paul Brown, absolutely.
What was America's game? 2010 Green Bay
God,
Packers.
I don't want to see this at all.
No, because the Bears would have rolled the Steelers, bro.
You know,
Packers
man,
beat the Bears in the 2010
Yep.
title game.
I remember that game. They scrambled Rodgers' brain early in the game. The Packers were barely holding on in that game.
Oh, let's see what she has to say.
We're able to do so.
Yeah, no kidding.
As an Indigenous person, being a part of my Native community.
Rosalie Fish, where you come from? That's not an.
What's your
indigenous name.
nation? Hey,
As an
listen.
Indigenous person. My aunt's from Lithuania.
No.
Here we go. We got Manti Teo over
My
here.
history,
Yeah,
my heritage,
this is-
it means a whole lot to me because it's opening the
The whole
conversation
like.
to.
I got rejected by USC, so I go to Oregon. What were you thinking? Really put your head down right there.
I know. I was just thinking about. I don't want to go into it because it's too deep, and I don't want. I
What?
don't want to.
We got nothing but time.
I know that is true, but it's just, what's allowed in the discussion of activism now is very disappointing to me. I don't find it. Yes, this sort of level of discussion and this sort of hyper kind of like it's all part of individualism still in a weird way, So it's not economic.
Larry
enough.
put it very tactfully
It's not
yesterday
economic
because I
enough.
was talking about how there was a poorly worded tweet of this happened after, but it's an example of someone tweeted besides murder, crime is actually down since COVID. And I was like, but that's the one everybody cares about.
I know. Yeah. You're waiting it.
I get your point.
Yeah.
But and she was like, both parties have big problems.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think that kind of is the liberals' big problem is boutique issues.
Oh, well, it's just again, it is not because they're too much of pussies because they're beholden to the corporate system.
Because you can
like
change
the Republicans are.
boutique issues are what it's easy to change those.
It's also, but it is not attacking the larger economic
Crow,
issue.
have you ever seen a video
God.
of a lib getting in an argument with someone, and then when you start trying to combat at them, they just start screaming a high pitched scream?
Oh, they get all shrill.
Yeah,
Yeah. God.
it's hilarious.
Yeah. Well,
They
it's
always
just-
got turquoise hair.
Yeah. I don't.
That's what's disappointing. Is there's no
yeah.
debate. It's I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. You're gonna say what you're gonna say, and while you say it, I'm gonna scream at the top of my lungs.
It's not fucking. It's not tough. There's not a toughness. If you're gonna truly try to make some change, you got to get your fucking.
But it'll change.
Some people are gonna die.
It'll change
unfortunately,
because. And I'm not saying I'm disappointed that the election happened because there was no quote unquote red wave.
Yeah.
Is over the years when people find out what people really get behind, I think you'll see largely that people care about those issues, but if it's not directly in your life, it's just not something that's going to fire someone up. It's not going to gas you up to vote for somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why everyone should be talking about the economy.
Yeah, exactly. It's the most important thing. All this is a distraction, and it's used by the right and the left, and it's all a distraction. And again, because we're all beholden to the corporate behemoth that runs things.
And I also think it's a little bit of the internet culture of when you stir someone up, just like how when the right trolls the left, they laugh when you get all upset and you fucking cancel. That makes oh, ha, ha, look how cucky and lib they're being.
Yeah.
And on the other side, when libs are stubborn and scream in your face, that's fun. They think that's funny and oh, I'm getting the right.
Yeah.
We're shutting them down, but it's no, you're just annoying people.
Yeah.
You're not really changing anything. And it's shitting on people that are liberal that are actually trying to do shit.
Yeah.
And then the videos on TikTok are just people busting into city council meetings and screaming, where it's that's not doing anything.
I know.
It's getting 27 million views, but
I know.
it's not going to lead to anything.
Well, yeah. What it is doing is annoying people, actually. And you say, well, of course we have to annoy people. We have to draw attention to our issue. And it's again, there's not a comprehensive whatever. People's lives are so difficult. It's so complex, and it's just
we've changed. I'm trying to be better at this. We're going to the news stations now that we're talking about this
to get I don't know, deeper concepts across. I tell you what, on a local level, I was actually kind of happy about some things that happened. Like in Wisconsin and in Michigan, there were actually some good things that happened on the local level, I believe.
That's what I think is part of the problem too, and that's a 24-hour news cycle, is I think everybody gets caught up in the idea that everything is so national and like on a large scale.
Yeah.
And people take that energy and they bring that shit into local elections and like they'll run into like, what are you doing about trans people? And it's just like, there's 400 people in this town. Like, that's just, I'm sorry, but that is just on the bottom of the list of things that are priority in this particular town. And I think there's people that have those big cultural changing ideas, which are good. Yeah. But they want to like have like, what are you as the 47th council member of this district going to do about this? Like, that has nothing to do with me. Like,
it's sort of getting behind a certain cause too, that just seems, I mean, it's necessary. It is necessary. And that there has to be an admission that there is a truly marginalized group of people in our society who live awful lives. For the most part,
they're called men. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, what I mean, but
I'm just kidding.
And there has to be some compassion and some understanding for that, and an appreciation or a certain sensitivity to that. But I think there are even, I mean, there are issues that still affect us all, that bind us all.
Yeah, God.
Kind of. Well, exactly. It's God's will. I say this a lot when I'm alone. It's the will of God. I say that a lot when I can't find something. Like, oh my, anyway.
Let's see what's happening. It's breaking news.
Weeks.
Democrats keep control of the Senate.
Came front and center, and people were saying, we don't.
Nevada
wasn't that, like Larry said, wasn't that always going to happen?
I don't know about that. I mean, I think that, there was, I mean, listen, again, when I made the point about conventional wisdom of like, it's always like, the party in power tends to lose in the midterms. That's almost an axiom.
Even as a kid, I always knew, my parents always told me that. Like, they would always say politics are the opposite. Like, if there's a Democratic president, that means that Republicans are going to be popular in the next election and vice versa.
Yeah. So it's like, but it just shows that, and you're running up against gas prices, against inflation, and raising interest rates. Particularly inflation. Inflation's freaking people out. But people are still employed. There's not massive unemployment. Yeah. So that's actually kind of a good thing. I think it is a good thing. But the point is, I think that the calculus has changed. That Roe v. Wade being overturned, and initially
that was a bigger deal for people.
Yeah, I mean, because it's the beginning of so many other things.
Let's see what these boys are saying.
Wow.
Elections, which are scheduled for this coming Wednesday.
We're already planning a run through. This is false. We're fucking.
Yeah. I guess. I'm glad though. I mean,
Laxalt, Lazalt. That sounds like a computer program.
I thought it was like some
LAX.ALT. That sounds like a
Laxalt.
That's like the web address of a page that has a virus.
Yeah.
That comes up as a pop-up.
Absolutely.
You don't click Laxalt. That's why they didn't vote for him. They thought they were going to give the fucking thing a virus.
So she's basically
there's this thing called Laxalt that keeps popping up.
Well, I mean, I think that Arizona and Nevada too wanted to be very particular.
First great joke of the show.
Good job. Absolutely.
35 minutes in.
Of our babbling. I feel like we've been moderately interesting.
I do this now.
So I do want to I want to pivot just back to it a little bit.
Bro.
Is we were talking about it earlier with the Vikings and just watching them. I think if they can stay relatively healthy, Keith, I think they're still going to be a pretty good team. I mean, I think that the elements are there. Them getting Hawkinson is a big deal, I think. With Hawkinson, Jefferson, and if Cook can stay healthy, this
which
is
he never
the
shit that makes me feel old. Because I look at this, like I saw the nape of Tom Brady's neck, and I was like, what a young version of Tom.
Yeah.
Like just by the nape of his neck, you can see how young he is. The brown, tight hair underneath.
Yeah.
This game is from like 2018.
No, well, it's 2015. So it's 8 years ago.
Super Bowl X-Lix.
Yep. Yeah.
Super Bowl, the guy that ran for Senate in fucking Nevada.
Yeah, exactly.
But after marching his team,
you like Herschel Walker. You think he's a pretty good guy, right? You like Herschel, right?
I mean, before the election, I did.
The Cowboys. Did
you know there's people who love the Cowboys that much who are just like legit. Like I don't care if he's a Nazi piece of shit. He got us Emmitt Smith.
That's America.
For people who don't know, if there's anyone young listening or watching, Herschel Walker was involved in an infamous trade from the Minnesota Vikings to the Dallas Cowboys. They traded Herschel Walker to the Cowboys.
No, Cowboys
traded him to the Vikings, and the Vikings gave him pretty much every draft pick they used to draft their Super Bowl team.
Yeah, the Super Bowl teams. The Vikings traded them their first, second, and third round picks for 3 straight drafts. For 3 straight drafts, their first
and their
second,
first round pick was who? For the Cowboys.
Oh, it was Russell Maryland, actually.
Who ended up being a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Oh, he wasn't in the Hall of Fame, but he was a very good.
They traded one of the picks for Emmitt Smith.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they moved around a lot. That was like, holy shit, they're moving around. Like, teams would trade sometimes on the draft day, but not like that. That was a whole, oh my God, that was a big moment, like, it was almost like they were doing like early analytics. They sort of knew what to do, and they were trading a futures market or something, Like
I am aware that the battery's on one slot too. So
yeah, so it just, so that happened, and then Walker was great immediately, and then literally it was just like his first game was incredible, and it was just progressively one notch worse.
His knees were out by then, right?
He played another 5 years after the Vikings, like the pressure of him.
Did he play for the Dolphins at one point?
He played for the Cowboys again. He played for the Eagles. Actually, like in '95 he played and like made some plays. Like,
now was that also, am I wrong? Because now it's all about the stat, the yards and shit. That was probably back when getting 600 yards was like, okay, he had himself a nice little season.
No. If you look at his If you look at his numbers,
so even back then, if you get under 1,000, they're like, oh, that's a disappointing season.
Oh, it was just like it was a blah. It didn't really. 1,000 was a threshold, but really it's 1,200. If you can do 1,200, it's like you're truly a good running back.
Yeah,
So it's like
I also knew people that were my dad's age. The schedule was OJ did it in 9 games.
Yeah.
And this generation can't do it in 16.
Yeah, OJ
2,000 yards in 11 games.
He
right?
did it in 14 games. He averaged 143 yards a game. He averaged 140.
That's crazy.
I mean, I don't remember that season, but they truly say like
72, right?
73. That truly, when he had that season, the quarterback was so bad. Like he was facing 9-person fronts. And was still having these, like, he was that dominant of an athlete.
He was like Peyton, and I didn't understand this because I think by the time I got to football, you did need a bunch of pieces to make it work.
Yeah.
People that in my family said that like Walter Payton single-handedly carried the Bears, like single-handedly won games for the Bears.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, they went to the playoffs in 77 and 79.
They hadn't been dog shit.
They hadn't been in the playoffs since they won the 63 championship. So from 63 to 77, they hadn't made the playoffs. And he was the MVP of the league. He had almost 1,900 yards rushing in a 14-game season. Like, he was amazing, including the 275 game against the Vikings.
I still love thinking of you fucking a young Adam Crocious throwing a fit because a flu-ridden Walter Payton ran for 275 yards, a then record.
That record stood for over 20 years.
Corey Dillon.
And then Peterson broke it, actually. I think Peterson has he has 296. That's pretty amazing, But I mean, the point is, like with him, and then in 79, they also went to the playoffs. They lost to the Cowboys in 77, and they lost to the Eagles in 79. It was all Walter Payton. Walter Payton was the reason why they were going to the playoffs. I mean, that was the reason why. They had very little offense outside of him.
Bringing it back to Jeff Saturday.
Yeah,
I just realized why I brought up Jeff Saturday 40 minutes ago.
Yeah, sure.
Because they were talking about, someone brought up why Jeff Saturday could work out. Dungy. I remember when George Halas, his little almost lisp. I remember when George Halas hired Mike Ditka to be the head coach of the Bears. Everybody was like, what? This is just a special teams coach, a hothead.
Yeah.
And he knew he had something in him. And I was yelling at the screen. I go, no, it's because he paid him like $50,000.
I know he paid him $100,000 a year. He was the lowest paid coach in professional football. He made $100,000 a year. I've made over that in a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. I mean, I didn't care.
So everybody knew what he was going to mold. Man, like, no, he was the cheapest guy.
Absolutely. And Ditka said it. He had the famous quote: "Halas threw on nickels like manhole covers." That was his line. That's why he went to the Eagles and ended up with the Cowboys. Ditka caught a touchdown in Super Bowl VI. Against the Dolphins.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's the only guy to coach a team that won it and have a touchdown.
I remember watching, like, my dad had this VHS that was from the first Super Bowl, and it ended at the Doug Williams Broncos Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh.
That ages the tape.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great era of Super Bowls. I love it.
Yeah. All the music and everything.
Yeah.
And they show Mike, touchdown caught by Mike Ditka. And I remember as a kid being like, no, that's not the same Mike Ditka.
Yeah,
like there's got to be another Mike Ditka.
No, it was Mike Ditka. That was always
that's like from the early 70s.
Oh yeah. He played. He was there until 73.
That was the
Ditka
one Super Bowl that the
74,
Cowboys,
maybe.
I believe, were their blue tops. They didn't wear
in Super Bowl 5. They did.
Okay, yeah.
5 they did. Not in 6, which is the first one Landry won.
5 is the one where they didn't score a touchdown, right?
No,
they lost Dolphins, right?
No, they lost the Colts. The Colts. Jim O'Brien 16-13 was the final score. It's supposed to be a terrible game, I guess. A really bad football game. John Mackey had a touchdown that was like tipped 3 times and caught it 175 yards. But anyway, they were in the Super Bowl 5 times in the 70s for the NFC. The Cowboys won 70.
TJ Watt activated from the IR.
Wisconsin's very own.
Oh, the Watt boys.
You know,
Wisconsin just breeds men that could whack corn with their with a karate chop.
It is a hardy
These
Midwestern
corn-fed
men.
boys.
Yeah, these are big human beings up there.
A lot of stew in that fucking college.
Absolutely. They're playing in Munich tomorrow.
Don't they call it like linebacker U or something like that, or running back U?
I mean, the running back wise, people always say running back, offensive line, but their linebackers have been very good. They've had a lot of Van Ginkel, the guy who touchdown against the Bears last week.
So, and here this will hype my family and you up as a Wisconsin fucking alum. They were going over like, what are we gonna do at linebacker now that fucking Roquan's gone? And everybody's like, I think Sanborn's the guy.
Oh yeah.
Like until they're not saying he's like gonna be good, but like until they can get like Sanborn is the best option they got.
Yeah.
At will.
Wow.
So this is the Jack Sanborn era this season.
Yeah. Well, I tell you. Again, one thing about him, he is a sure tackler.
You know you're in a rough spot when a special teams player is also playing linebacker.
And like starting. You know what I mean? Like starting, not backing up.
Doing double duty, boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Little Charles Woodson out there.
Well, and so I give him credit for, they're just like, we got to get 2 or 3 more draft picks next year because we got to get more bodies in here, And again, for their draft, they better draft some offensive linemen.
Ooh, what do we got here? Halftime. Oh, look at these psychopaths.
There we go.
This is in Austin.
I never look at that. We lost.
Let's go.
We lost.
Like, look at that shit.
I know.
In the history of, how about DKR?
104,000, second largest in history.
That's a lot. Hey,
let's see what up TCA.
I love college football.
Go Frogs.
I haven't watched much this year. Badgers lost today.
TCU up 10-3, boy. Texas is another one of those. I think I think college is getting bitten more than the pros because I think by the time coaches get to the pros, they're just better at making something out of nothing. College is all about hiring like Sarkisian, Jim, all these like spread offense guys. And it's like Texas, it's not lighting up like Texas was supposed to be like they're going to challenge Alabama.
Yeah.
Even Alabama.
Yeah,
has been kind of dog shit.
Yeah, well, I don't think maybe by their standards, but they're still pretty damn good.
Well, they're like 9th in the nation. They've lost 2. They almost lost to Ole Miss today.
Wow. Ooh, look at that. Went after.
Is that a flag?
Flag comes out.
Yeah.
What I say about coaches, and I was making this point before too, it's a carousel, man. Guys are rotating. They go 1, 2, 3 years, maybe maximum, where they go somewhere else. They're all over the place. There's so much like cross section.
Look how thick kickers are in college.
Oh! I mean, again,
that's why getting drafted as a kicker has to be a bummer because they're just like, man, I got to get into shape now.
Yeah, I mean, they're actually bigger now. You know what I mean?
Kickers I gotta wear a single-digit number now. I can't be number 87.
They're coming free. No wonder they think they can block when no one's
picking them up. Probably knocked the.
Yeah. Oh, how many times have you had the wind knocked out of you?
Oh, it's like a panic moment. It's truly one of the most terrifying moments in my life is when you get the wind knocked out of you. Or have you ever knocked your tailbone into something?
Oh yeah.
Like and it's just like a real deep like
Yeah, absolutely.
I've heard stories of wrestlers breaking their tailbone on suplexes. And I was like, I can't imagine the horror. I can't imagine the panic that goes through your body.
But they have good health insurance because Vince McMahon is a good human being,
You can afford it, pal.
Yeah.
Allowing guys to come.
Look at how they're dressed. Are they dressed like fucking old frontiersmen? It looked like they were like Sacagaweas out there.
Is it gender neutral or something? I have no idea. Are they Texas woke?
Demercado.
But so it's a carousel, and so I we'll see. We'll see with the Vikings. I mean, what they, I think that they're going to be in games. I think people have been somewhat dismissive of them, but they're going to be in games. They actually kind of believe in what they're doing.
Oh
now,
yeah.
So That counts for something. You think you're still in games. I give them credit, man. When they're down, they don't choke. Like, man, do you know how many bars I stormed out of during the Mike Tice era?
I mean,
by the second quarter, it was over.
I've seen you storm out in wins.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can only imagine what a blowout.
By the second quarter, I'm like, I can't watch this, because I've seen the formula. I know I'm not a fair weather fan. Why go through the torture of watching them lose a game unless it's a very important game and you got to watch it pillar to post? Championship games, playoff games, you got to watch those. But I think health wise, they're going to wear down, and that's going to affect them late in the season, and that's a problem. It's whatever, because the game is a grind. But they've been relatively healthy, so I've been happy about that. But they're starting a new defensive back. This guy, a rookie out of Missouri, is going to be playing. I think he's decent. He's got half a season under his belt now, so he's not a complete rookie. He made 3 good plays last week.
Look at that pit stop right there.
That was good. That was good.
Like a goddamn fucking Red Bull pit stop right there.
Yeah.
You got to have the tires ready.
So we'll see. I think that I was down on their defense early in the season, but the last 3 games, their defense has actually played better. They've been getting better pressure on the quarterback, So Darius Smith and Hunter have been playing well. So that bodes well for their future. If those guys can play a full season, their defense is going to be okay.
Trying to catch a little bit of Wonder Woman here, but we keep catching on a commercial.
It's weird.
I think we're going to leave it because
Wonder Woman. This
and the $6 Million Man I always watched because when I would come home from school, it would go $6 Million Man. I'd always come home from school and the end of $6 Million Man would be on. I'd be completely uninterested in that show.
Yeah.
And then The Incredible Hulk would come on. I fucking loved Bill Bixby in The Incredible Hulk. Truly one of my favorite shows as a kid.
Excellent, man.
And then after that, Wonder Woman would start, but my parents would be home, so they'd kick me off the TV by that time. So that was always, but I'd always watch the beginning of Wonder Woman. So I don't quite have the wank bank feelings that most people do with Linda Carter. My dad fucking loves Linda Carter.
Yeah.
I'm more of an I Dream of Jeannie guy.
Oh, yeah. Barbara Eden was beautiful. Oh,
yeah.
Look at this. This is great. Oh, yeah. I think I remember this episode.
This is in season 1.
Oh,
this is season 1, episode 9, I think it said.
There's like a spaceship episode.
The Outer Space Council of Planets sends an emissary, Tim O'Connor, to Earth, where he takes attention from Nazis. They loved the Nazis. This is probably like trying to ride the back of Hogan's Heroes a little bit.
But also, it's just whatever. It's also your Jewish influence. No, it's.
But you still believe they are capable.
This sound.
It's like they just play scenes from Star Trek over this.
when you hear that sound, is a classic 70s like science fiction sound. It's a computer processing information. Or is it light bright? I don't know.
That's what I love, a Foley artist, the guy who has to go out and get those sounds. They hear their little dipshit nephew banging their head against something like, can you do it again?
Give yourself CT.
You know fucking the fucking blasters in Star Wars is the lines of the fucking
a power line, right? Yeah.
It's the things that are holding the power line up. He was just hitting it. Like that's the fucking sound of the fucking.
That's hilarious.
And I think one of his like a kid's toy had the little beeps, and he was like, "Wait, what is that?" And he used a series of beeps to make the R2 language.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Did you ever see
the
movie Blowout?
No.
With John Travolta. It came out in 1980. Brian De Palma directed it. Honestly, dude, watch it. I think you'll like it. It's dated, but you'll like it.
Dude, do you know what I watched, speaking of old movies?
Ooh, I'm curious. What is it?
Driven. From the year 2001 with Sly Stallone and Kit Pardue.
Wow.
So here's why I watched it. I love IndyCar. You know that.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And that movie is about the 2001 FedEx Kart Championship Series, which was like the Indy Racing League's opposing league. It was superior. But it's funny because Sly Stallone wanted to do a movie about Formula One, but they wouldn't let him near any of those secrets. It's like a space formula there. Like they're they don't let you in on their shit because he wanted to learn everything about it. So he was just like, all right, I'll do IndyCar. And so I watched Days of Thunder and then Driven back to back. And they each have their own flaws, and you could tell Driven tried to play off a little bit of Days of Thunder. Days of Thunder got the racing. Like the races are exciting in Days of Thunder.
Wow.
Everything else is garbage.
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman's character could have brought in as like a female race team But I feel like that blew their mind in the 80s of like, it's all men. Even though you look at a fucking pit crew or any sort of race team now, like there's women there.
Yeah.
So they just shoehorn her in as the doctor. It happens too late in the movie. It puts at least
That's
an
like
hour
Kelly
on the
Lynch
movie.
in Roadhouse.
It puts at least an hour on the movie. Them just introducing Nicole Kidman enough to where it's not like rape when he tries to fucking bang her.
Yeah. They got married. I mean, that's where they met. That's the movie they met on,
Now, Driven, which is pretty much the IndyCar version, and racing movies always do this thing that is got to stop. The idea that the driver has panic attacks when it gets too tight.
Yeah.
They do it in Days of Thunder, and Kit Pardue, he starts having like panic attacks because he's like the hot rookie, and Bo Brandenburg is like this German fucking, he's like the best
machine,
driver.
like I'm a European, I'm a Uberman.
And even the name's Bo Brandenburg. And then Kit Pardue's character is like Johnny A.
Kip.
Yeah, well, Kit Pardue's the name of the actor.
Exactly. Oh, here we go. She turns into
I love this show because they didn't necessarily have the rights to all the DC stuff, so they have to say like the Intergalactic Planet Crew.
Yeah, she kicks ass.
It was like one move, an arm whip, took him down.
Oh. Listen to this. It's like a disco. Listen to this disco. I guess she was a huge, like she's like in the LGBT community.
Oh, she's huge.
Is a because I guess she's very like supportive too.
Yeah,
and like because they're her biggest fans.
But movies in the 2000s and late 90s, and Driven is a perfect example of this. First of all, the racing is shit.
Yeah,
they try and make it like. I feel like they just were like, okay, She's All That's popular. Let's take the songs from She's All That and we'll put it to some racing scenes. And like, it just was all, they tried to have the vibe of the 90s.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
90s movies and like, it was all vibes. And like, we'll have some songs in it and like some cool quick cuts and we'll show all the action. We'll throw the action at them. Like, it really was just a nauseating formula. And as a kid, I liked it, but I can only imagine like
it looks
you
dated now.
Being like, dude, with these fucking movies.
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of movies are. I was Mr. Independent back. I saw Requiem for a Dream at the in the theater.
Here, let's do this. I want to do this just to like. I got to show you some of Driven.
Sure. Absolutely. I'm into it, man. I think it's
like
a great
this.
idea.
If I was gonna describe what a quintessential terrible early 2000s movie is, I'd show them Driven. I want to watch this movie every day because it's bad good.
Yeah. You know.
Moonraker. We still got that. We watched that movie, by the way, guys, on this show for 45 minutes, and they didn't get to the moon at all.
And they didn't even bust you over it. That's how they knew how unpopular it was. They didn't care. Go ahead, Paesel. Watch Moonraker. There's no copyright infringement going on by you watching Moonraker. The worst of the Roger Moores. The worst of the Moonraker.
Here we go.
Moonraker is bad. It's the whole
Driven,
fucking the whole Noah's Ark.
Look at how many movies are called Driven.
Oh, I believe it.
But like Driven is like on the level of like it's the IndyCar version of fucking Any Given Sunday.
Oh, is it also this classic trope of like we're gonna have the young hot stars?
So Sly Stallone is Joe Tanto. He's the old retired driver who's got to come out. It's Rocky V, but race car driving.
Burt Reynolds
It's not only Rocky as a race car movie. It's Rocky V as a race car driver movie where he has to come in and like coach up the new driver.
And
Burt Reynolds is Carl Henry. He's the race team leader. Kit Pardue's Johnny Bly. He's like the hot young rookie.
Oh yeah.
Bo Brandenburg is like the villain. But that's the thing about this movie is at some point, like they become friends. And then the last 30 minutes is just kind of like a montage of them like prepping for a race. It's wild. Gina Gershon. Let's go through this cast a little bit.
Look at this cast. Reynolds was still riding high off the Boogie Nights.
This poor girl is just literally a toy in the movie.
Wasn't she also in the Planet of the Apes movie?
We'll see.
She was in the.
Yes, she was.
Yeah,
look at
that. Yeah, she was. That's it. Those are her 2 movies.
No, she's got more. That's just what's on Plex.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow.
This guy was in fucking SLC Punk. He was the German guy in SLC Punk. Look at all his movies.
He's got some movies. He's been in some stuff.
But
Gina Gershon, man.
Let's watch this shit, dude.
They're obviously focusing on her, of course.
Well, no, that's the thing. She's not. She's She plays Bo Brandenburg's wife, and he dumps her because he's having bad luck. It's like the first 20 minutes of the movie. No, I just need to win. So she fucks Johnny Bly, Kit Pardue's character, to like get back at Bo Brandenburg in about 10, 15 minutes. 10 minutes. I'll be back in 10, I promise.
That is horrifying. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. It's unbelievable.
Worried about the well-being of another driver.
No, they're not all savages. I'm an anachronism, Gorel. I'm a romantic. I still have faith. You're wrong. These people are savages. And if they kill you, Andros, I will lose a friend. And their planet will be destroyed in any case.
Teaching him to ride a bike? That's parenting 101. But mom, get green light and teach him what it takes to buy a bike. Nice shot. Crushing chores, getting paid, and buying a, ooh, cool bike. Then, teach him how to buy stock in a bike company. Teach him how to be smart about money, and he'll go far.
Super far. Oh, hey, Mom.
Navigate the world of money together. Invest in your best investment. Green light. At Rulala, feel like $1,000,000 without paying the price. Seize the deals on top names.
What's it gonna take to undo this much damage? About 3 minutes, with Pantene Pro V Deep Fortifying Treatment. Deep conditioning used to take me at least 20 minutes. Now it takes just 3. Pantene Pro V, for hair so healthy it shines. Why wait?
Atmosphere. You open the gate. You put in the tape. Became Avengers. You're changing too. You have 1 hour to stop the gatekeeper. Atmosphere. The video game that puts you at each other's throat. Atmosphere. The sound of the nightmare. The game. Atmosphere.
A great face says it all. Without saying.
Man, you two hung through all that audio nonsense. Thank you.
Starts with
That was a mess. This is the real commercial. Back in about 6 minutes.
But Noxzema not only deep cleans, it conditions too, which leaves your face looking and feeling so healthy. You will always have great face. Noxzema.
There is no blood. No one dies. This is Zoop, the game, and we're so sure you'll get hooked, we're offering you this great deal. Rent Zoop and get a second video game rental free at Blockbuster Video.
Zoop, if you start, you won't stop.
Go to the hole with flair.
quick and strong. Play that tough D. Smile, do no wrong. Sign autographs, many autographs. Be an inspiration. Work hard, have fun, enjoy the infatuation. But remember, listen to moms. Take her advice. When you go out to play, always dress nice.
Different issues.
Different strengths.
Different needs. It's a revolutionary form of antiperspirant that recognizes the difference between men and women. It's Secret Ultra Dry, a superior form that will keep you drier than any other. Secret, strong enough for a man, but made with ultra dryness for you.
When it comes to the music of the 90s, anything goes.
Music today is everywhere. No need to label it. If it's good, we'll play it.
That's why we got Living in the 90s. 2.5 hours of the coolest songs on 2 CDs and 2 cassettes.
Check it out.
Can't touch this.
There's only one thing left to say about living in the 90s.
You're unbelievable.
To order, call the number on your screen or send check or money order. 2 CDs, $26.99. 2 cassettes, $21.99. Rush delivery available. Living in the 90s is not sold in stores.
What to wear, what to do with his skanky hair. Before becoming a geeky freak, check out MTV's Makeover Madness Week. We'll show you how to look hot and trendy with style tips that are budget friendly. We'll do your face, your hair, your clothes, cause frankly, babe, your whole look blows. For those of you who don't look heinous, get some tips from the rich and famous. It's MTV's Makeover Madness, all this week at 6. Watch the show for styling new tricks.
This Friday, you are invited to the black tie event of the season.
Enjoy it. While it lasts.
Very words I live by. GoldenEye, rated PG-13, starts Friday.
Bon Jovi, These Days, the new album from Bon Jovi. There are some days you'll never forget. Bon Jovi, These Days, on sale now. Available on Mercury CDs and cassettes.
Specially priced now at all Camelot Music locations.
They all just moved in here, and already I got them pegged. I'll bet 5R gets wake-up calls from collection agencies. The blonde on 3 is not a woman without enemies. She makes sure her packages aren't ticking. That Solito guy's well-connected. Let's say the family business ain't a dry cleaner. The thing I don't know is, who's that guy who's always snooping around? I thought that was my job.
The City, the new daytime series starting Monday on ABC.
You gotta watch this, City.
Hey, get poppin'! This is a taste you can't resist. I say put a can in every hand. Do the brain goes twist like this. Pop a top, well, keep it fresh. Slip it in. Grab a stack of your favorite snack. Let the fun begin.
There's no stopping once you're popping.
Hey, wake up! Don't get caught holding that bag. Hey, that's no party. Greasy pieces are a drag.
There's no stopping once you're popping.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
Which size kids were you wearing when they stopped delivering milk? When you got too big to be carried? When your mother was the prettiest woman on earth? Which size kids were you wearing when you learned to take a compliment? And you started to hold your father's hand again? Which size kids will you be wearing when the first of your friends gets married? And which size kids will you be wearing when a woman walks on Mars? Kids never stop growing.
Arizona is not just a state of the union. It's a state of mind. Arizona Jeanswear from the original Arizona Jean Company. It's more about attitude than latitude. It's clothes for people who think and people who care. It's clothes that fit your head. Arizona, great prices, great jeanswear for whatever state you're in. Only at JCPenney.
Attention consumers. Certain portables are being dressed up in order to distract you from their one-color play. What could be next? Little flower print dresses? Don't be fooled. Get Sega Game Gear with hundreds of full-color games radiating from the inside.
Our truck has broken down. We need help. Better call Dad Collect.
Mike! What, girl? I should dial 1-800-COLLECT? I'll save Dad lots
Coming back in a minute or two, taking a couple hits off the bowl. You guys understand. Drugs.
Thanks, girl.
It's your time to shine. With Pantene Pro V Hairspray, the Pro Vitamin formula penetrates, improving your hair for all day hold, all day shine. Pantene Pro V Hairspray, for hair so healthy, it shines. Get a hold on it.
On the next Neon Flux.
That bird, and it's still here. Got it.
Tuesday at 10.
It's Guitar Rock, the most electrifying rock collection ever issued.
No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more Mr.
CDs were so popular.
Get Guitar
That was a
Rock
fun
on
trip.
cassette or compact
They were
disc for
selling.
just
This blows my mind now. They were selling Spotify in CD form.
Oh yeah. Oh, look at this.
We can't afford the rights to these songs. This song rules, dude. Hair metal fucking rules.
no.
Certain ones, like Poison sucks. What's the dude with the one arm?
Def Leppard.
Def Leppard sucks.
You get a lot of Def Leppard here.
I only like the hits from Jovi. Van Halen, and I'll stand on this fucking table right now. Fucking rules.
Early Van Halen is great.
Van
It
Halen
is.
rules.
Yeah.
Even fucking synth era, Dreams.
You know,
the song Dreams will get higher and higher. Fucking Van Hagar, dude.
That was the song of prom, of my prom.
Oh, that song. I listened to that song today, dude.
Yeah. I didn't like Van Hagar.
Run away. The music video is just people running to a Van Halen concert.
I think, to me, they lost me at 1984. That's where they lost me.
Right.
Although I like
that's the last fucking. That's the last
David Lee Roth.
David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
His solo career is terrible.
Oh, I'm just a gigolo.
There are
and everywhere I go.
There isn't two more musical entities that needed each other more than Van Halen and David Lee Roth. Both of them suffered away.
Oh yeah, absolutely from each other. But I mean, Van Halen. I remember being. Like when I was in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, Van Halen was a respected band. Van Halen was respected. But, they were also pretty good, man.
I forgot to switch back over. Hang on, here we go.
You have to admit, Eruption is a jam.
Oh, it's the greatest guitar solo of all time. My favorite Eruption is fucking, it's 20 minutes. Oh, I love Hogan's Heroes. It's 20 minutes and it's just him like doing Eruption, but then he'll add like a bunch of shit. And after the 20, he gets through all of Eruption. But you got fucking a dusted out Sammy Hagar. We got my favorite part of the evening. Watch Mr. Eddie Van Halen play guitar. That's what it was. I think was lame about hair metal is like they tried to put themselves off as these big like pussy hunters, and then they would wear like white sneakers with Zumba pants. Like they just looked like such dorks.
Well, yeah, I didn't like the aesthetic of it. I couldn't stand. I didn't like it on just about every level. There was very little that was good, but I have to admit it clouded my judgment a little bit. I'll admit this. Some of Motley Crue is actually good. Some of Motley. That wasn't Hogan's Heroes.
Smoking in the boys' room.
That was Wonder Woman we were watching.
Don't come at me with your rules, cause everybody knows that smoking ain't allowed in school.
He's a big right to lifer.
Who, Dave Thomas?
Yeah,
when I was
Oh yeah, Wendy. My logo could have not been here.
12 years old.
If I wanted to abort Wendy, we wouldn't have had a business.
That's Tuesday.
But again, you see, your perception of hair metal and what it
Well,
truly
I only
was,
hear the good stuff.
Exactly.
Like you knew fucking
Jackal and shit like that.
no,
I just,
some fucking. Let me pull something up that I've been fucking with.
there are. I mean, I was inundated with it in Wisconsin.
I'm only gonna play
in
this
Eau
a little
Claire,
bit,
White Wisconsin,
because I don't want to get popped.
Jesus, I hate.
But
I didn't
let me
like the people.
Here's how much hair metal I've been listening to, because I
Yeah.
like. Oh, you know who else I like is Twisted Sister.
Yeah, not good.
We're not gonna
Not
take. It's a good
Yeah,
song. That's on my top listens. Let me take you through my on repeat right now. I got fucking We're Not Gonna Take It as far as hair metal goes.
Ugh.
I got Dreams by Van Halen.
Okay.
I got
That's
I Won't Back Down by Tom Petty. That's not fucking.
Okay.
But I got this fucking. I found this deep cut hair metal song that I know the rest of it is bad, but I like this. This is a band called Rough Cut.
Oh.
From 1985. These people probably all work in Foot Lockers right now.
Oh yeah, if they're even alive. That's so like that might as well be Rat. Rat was.
Listen.
I hated Rat. Round and round. Yeah.
But they have a solo that rips in this fucking.
Oh yeah,
like,
noodling away on your guitar. That was like you were like a white god in 1984 when you could noodle away.
Here's the chorus of that song. So take her, she's a real heartbreaker. Take it away. It's fucking just like that's the whole chorus. Ow, 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 ow.
Take it. I mean, the lyrics were
Why
bad.
don't you take her?
My sensibilities were more punk rock back then. I would go to punk bands.
Oh, yeah.
I was a little more punk
Bad
rock.
Brains.
Oh, yeah, if you were into Bad Brains, boy, you were fucking cool. I still have that CD. I have an autographed version from the lead. I can't remember what the guy's name was. The Bad Brains was they were living color done right.
The stream froze.
Bad Brains was great. They were really aggressive. They were like,
oh, thank God.
They were like, I mean, they were New
I'm
York.
almost like,
cool,
thank God
man.
it just froze. It's not. It's probably just my internet here.
Man.
Just want to make sure the stream didn't freeze here. Oh,
that's
so
okay.
do we want to go to 1995 TV Tango?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Take a little run through it. What happened on TV?
Yes.
So we are still live. That is good. Yeah, 3 viewers. I think it was just my phone here.
Allergens, mucus.
Wouldn't that suck if I get my second strike for some also ran hair metal band? It wasn't even playing Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
At least take me down for playing Shot Through the Heart.
God, Bon Jovi
Shot
was.
through the heart. You play that if you right now, a party of people my age and Zoomers,
yeah,
they could be talking quietly amongst themselves, and you just fire off "Shot Through the Heart." They'll all fucking pop, dude. Bon Jovi has gotten some like nostalgia points.
Oh
over the
yeah,
years.
they're not good. Okay,
Well,
they
it's
weren't
because
good then.
it's
It
because
wasn't good.
it's my life.
This is Wonder Woman. Who's was that? Is that Mr. Was that Tom Bosley? Is
General
that
von
Mr.
Ryback.
Ah, yes, General.
Major Trevor,
We are
I'm
all
nice to see
wearing
you again.
SS uniforms.
We all talk the same.
This is what we do. We are of the SS. The SS was truly evil, man.
She's
They
a
were
Wonder Woman.
A Wunder. An Unter.
Wonder Woman. You too.
Wonder Woman. There's one that talks normal.
Came to free Andros, but Andros doesn't want to be freed.
Dr. Andros.
What is this convoluted
Andros.
friendship Nazi?
Is that the Semitic name?
Give us a concrete demonstration of that friendship. To be specific, we know you are a key scientist.
All right, so let's run through some stuff here. So November 12th, 1995 was a Sunday.
Yeah.
Let me go to this fucking
I was living here.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yep.
Let's see.
I was still in Orange County.
So here we go.
I lived in Orange County for like 3 months.
Sunday was tricky. in the 90s because Fox, I feel like, was the first person. Well, NBC had new stuff, but it was all bad shows. Fox was, I feel like, the first network to start running like their quality programming on a Sunday.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Like Sunday was dead. Like ABC got reruns of America's Funniest Home Videos, new Lois and Clark, Indecent Proposal, new movie from 93.
I never saw
the
that.
thrill of seeing a movie on TV that you wanted to see in theaters and just forgot about, because that was the thing.
Yeah.
There was no FOMO. If you wanted to see a movie, you'd be upset about it for a month.
Yeah.
Then you just forget about it.
I know, exactly.
And then you'd be flicking around at 1:30 in the morning and you'd be like, oh shit, Phantoms.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to see that.
Yeah, it is. That was also the era of the 2-word title, Extreme Measures.
Larry McMurtry's Streets of Laredo.
Is
that a TV movie?
That's a prequel to, I think, to Lonesome Dove.
Oh my God, let's see if we got this.
But then there's a... again, that was the era of the 2-word title for movies, the dramatic 2-word title. Indecent Proposal.
Oh, excuse the
Fatal
voice.
Attraction. Extreme Measures. The 2-word title was always huge at that era, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you see the 2-word title now like you used to back then,
No. Well...
I mean, on occasion, the 2-word title.
This was probably Dr. Quinn. This is probably trying to catch the back of Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
No, I think that was maybe even after this.
That's Sam Elliott?
No, this is still Larry McMurtry. Yeah,
I think it's old Cole.
It's young Texas Rangers. It's what they were before, like when they were young men. It's a sequel to it.
Dad, maybe I just was too young to understand the complexity of these plots, but to me, the first Western where the story was interesting to me was Deadwood. Like, I remember when I would watch Wyatt Earp and fucking Tombstone and this and like Lonesome Dove, it was just kind of like, if you weren't interested in the scenery and just like the era of the time, I was just like, it's cool watching them like be cowboys and shit, but like, I don't give a fuck about the story at all.
Yeah, it's interesting. I used to find the Western completely dull because I used to associate it with black and white movies. Because when I was a kid, there was like black and white Westerns run, John Wayne Westerns and shit. So, I didn't like it until I read the book Lonesome Dove, and then it changed my opinions about Westerns. But I'll be honest with you, Unforgiven, I liked Unforgiven a lot. I saw Unforgiven in the theater.
All of these movies are just kind of like that, where it's like, stranger coming to town and I want to buy something that you don't want to sell.
If you would read Lonesome Dove it's Lord of the Rings like, and it's complex. There's like this huge cast and like they have these backstories and they're going from different parts of the country and they're going on a cattle rustle or a cattle drive, you know what I mean? It's epic. It lasts forever. I love it. But it's basically based on two
Lonesome
guys.
Dove, Underneath Lonesome Dove, Beneath the Planet of Lonesome Dove, Escape from Lonesome Dove.
Is that?
To let criminals out of my own jail. They ain't criminals, and you've overstepped. Your man can go. The day I hang the old Indian. And I'll hang.
Back when you can fucking hang a man.
Oh, yeah, hangings and shit. The body count in Lonesome Dove, a lot of people die. A lot of people die.
Let's see what kind of
like death was just there. That's why I think people were kind of weirdly religious because it was like you just died at any moment.
So this book came out in 93. So this was a new book. 1993 novel of the same name and the third installment of the Lonesome Dove series as a direct sequel to the 1989 Lonesome Dove.
Oh, it was a sequel? I thought it was a prequel.
The events of Return to Lonesome Dove. Ignoring the events of Return to Lonesome Dove.
Oh, okay.
Now, does that upset you?
No.
Is Return to Lonesome Dove have nothing to do with the book?
Oh no, they're all sequels. I've only read Lonesome Dove.
Is this one of those movie things where it's all one book and they turned it into the universe into 3 movies?
No. Although the book Lonesome Dove,
there's stuff that's in the movie that's not in the book.
Lonesome Dove, I'm proud to say, I think it's over 1,000 pages.
You're proud to say?
Yeah, and I read it and I loved it. I loved Lonesome Dove. I don't know, for some
reason,
it just resonated with me. I don't know why. I liked it. You know? It's got a certain emotional core to it. It's bittersweet. And
this definitely didn't catch the like TV movie eye because it's got no like reception. It's got no like reviews.
Here's the thing emotionally that I figured out from reading Lonesome Dove. It was the idea, Keith, of like that your enemy in some ways defines yourself. There's a couple moments that really resonate because there's this old Mexican general, Bolivar, I think is his name. I can't think of his name. He dies but he was like an old nemesis of
the
Call.
screen's hard to see.
Of the two Texas Rangers. He was an old nemesis. So when that Mexican general dies, although they hated him, they also it hit them because they both realized we're getting old, we're dying. Like our life is sort of ending, you know? That's one of the motifs of it all. It's like kind of dealing with death. The body count is incredible in Lonesome Dove.
Guys, I apologize.
People are dying
I just
all the
noticed.
time.
Ooh, do we want to watch an episode of Kirk? An episode of Kirk aired. Kirk got moved to Sundays. That's when you know a show was doing terrible. Because when we watched an episode of Kirk, it was on Wednesdays.
Yeah, it's popping on. What the hell?
Let's see.
Kirk. Oh, is this Kirk Cameron?
Yeah, the Kirk Cameron show. Kirk Unplugged.
Oh my God. Yeah, the fact that this guy was still able to kind of maintain a career, I don't know. I was not paying attention to this. I was in a very different headspace at this time. You know,
Kirk season 1.
That color scheme is so fucking 90s, man. Palm Beach. The whole, oh man, just what they give people is such drivel. You know, it's so.
Got to see what episode number Kirk Unplugged is.
I mean, that was literally when like an MTV
season 1, episode 10.
God, Unplugged was just like that's how powerful Nirvana was, man.
Oh, that's one of my first CDs I bought.
This is such a fucking intro to a sitcom.
This was like a WB, like WB kind of found its formula, and it really was this. Like one apartment.
Yeah.
It starts with just a cold walk-in.
Yep. Exactly.
No. You know what, Corey? We talked about this whole thing 100
and they
times.
have
We can't
to.
afford another phone line. All right, it's too expensive. It's like $85.
You know, it's an inexpensive set.
Yeah, sure. Help yourself. Can't you loan me the money? No, I don't have the money. Listen, if you want another phone line, you're just gonna have to work for it. Okay?
He wants another phone line. I remember the phone line. We had our own phone in the room, but it was connected to the same line.
Oh yeah.
That was rich person shit. We had friends that had their own phone line, and it's like, look at you, upper middle class fuck.
Yeah. That was like a delineating point.
Yeah. My sister had one of those see-through phones. That had all the colored wires. She put stickers on it.
That was hip.
Hold it to your ear with your shoulder like a little fucking snot.
Exactly.
Okay. Unless someone's using the phone.
That hairstyle I never understood. I never got that hairstyle back then.
So you're in LA at this point. Are you watching any TV at all?
No. Maybe some sports, and that's it.
Yeah.
That is it.
You're not watching NYPD Blue or anything?
Not really.
Just to get material?
You know,
I watch TV for material, man.
Sometimes, yeah. Some. I would.
Yeah.
You know. Dennis Franz. I remember a trainer made a joke. Dennis Franz, fat, hairy ass. Was not what I wanted to see. Because they would show like nudity on NYPD Blue.
Will Estes, he's probably got to be dead.
Oh, yeah. He's... she's turning tricks right now.
Cortland Mead, that fucking kid. That's fucking the kid from the Little Rascals movie.
Look, that is
the Twinnies, baby.
September 11th. Woo boy.
Nothing. Those are completely safe. Those towers.
Isn't that amazing? They tried taking them down in '93. I remember.
I remember that. I remember that. I don't remember it happening, but I remember it being talked about, like in school.
It's such a.
I remember Oklahoma City. I remember that being a thing.
That was huge.
That happened in 1995. It happened this. What I'm going to start doing next week is I want to buy 90s shit, and when we come back from break, I want to be wearing like acid wash jeans.
We'll
put on some mullets. We'll get some 90s clothes.
Yeah. 90s clothes was more.
Like
again,
him.
The flannel is definitely a thing.
The flannel
was, yes, absolutely.
The belted pant tucked in.
Yes, belted. I never liked that look. I didn't really wear that much.
Yeah.
I was untucked.
Kangol hats.
That was my look. I don't exactly. You know, but I had bad jeans. I had
the sunglasses that flip up under the bill of a hat. Those were still rocking in the 90s.
Yeah, certainly. Within your urban community, certainly.
Yeah.
You know.
What are we watching? A different world here?
Kirk, I'm sorry to bother you. Do you have any bread? I was just making my lunch and I ran out.
Oh, he ended up marrying her, right?
Oh, yeah. I think they were already dating. They met on Growing Pains.
Thanks. I thought I was going to have to eat at the hospital cafeteria.
Oh, it's pretty bad, huh?
The acting couple.
The dialogue in this is insane. It's so like embarrassingly simple. Oh, the hospital food, huh?
Here. I got an idea. Here, what do you think of peanut butter and jelly sandwich and gummy bear?
I love how the joke of this is he's always torturing his adopted children to like hit on her.
Yeah.
Like, here, let me steal food from my kids and fucking give it to you.
Well, there's a reason why it didn't last. There's a reason why it didn't last, you know?
Corey, I don't think the rabbi job is for you. All right, I think you should keep looking.
Family ties.
Corey, we're Christian.
Yeah.
Corey, the Jews are lizards.
Good word for you.
Oh, wow. Really?
Again, Family Ties I still cast a long shadow.
One of the best songs in sitcom
What do
history.
we do, baby?
I've heard there's a couple extra verses and choruses in that song. Johnny Mathis, you kidding me?
Oh, it's a Johnny Mathis?
Hell yeah.
Really? Gay Johnny Mathis.
What will we do? Famous gay singer Johnny Mathis.
Absolutely, yes.
Without us. Cheers is good too. Cheers also has an extended version.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
After the first chorus, there's a whole second verse.
Yeah. That top is. Oh, her?
Sure, hit me.
Well, here we go. It's little kid time.
I'm not gonna take that. You got a little rum in there? That's probably a joke.
Well, no, that would.
Is it spiked?
That'd be funny, actually.
Give me a drink. Oh, okay.
Oh, I auditioned for a movie called Forrest Gump. I didn't get it.
Yeah. I didn't look retarded enough.
I watched half of Forrest Gump this week.
It's a good movie. We watched Forrest Gump 2 weeks ago on the show, or earlier this week. We probably were watching it at the same time, just in different locations.
Yeah.
It's on AMC.
I was watching it. I was just like, I don't know. It's
they throw that out there as a Thanksgiving movie. Forrest Gump is like an unofficial Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's inspiring. It's got inspiring vibes, but you get to watch him goof on Forrest. You get to see a boy get a rock thrown at his head. It's fun.
Do you know that the book that it was based on? He's actually this Nimrod idiot.
Oh, he's like who's borderline.
And he's not a good guy. What it's supposed to be saying is,
isn't he like he's a rockhead, like he's mean to people in it, isn't he?
Well, I don't even know if it's that, but he's just more like really stupid and unaware, and it's not like a sympathetic take on that. It's about, oh, look at this moronic American who's unaware of these events that are going on around him.
Let me see if I could pull this up real quick. I think someone has,
but
the first paragraph of the Forrest Gump book is like crazy.
So what do they say, like tard and stuff or something, like horrible fucking expressions, you know? I remember Riri. I remember people saying Riri, you know? That's a pretty offensive term for a mentally challenged human being. A Riri.
Forrest Gump.
Pretty bad.
Let me say this. Being an idiot is no box of chocolates. That's the original line. People laugh, lose patience, treat you shabby. Now they say Spoke's supposed to be the kind to the afflicted, but let me tell you, it ain't that way. Even so, I got no complaints, because I reckon I done live a pretty interesting life, so to speak. I've been an idiot since I was born. My IQ is near 70, which qualifies me, so they say. Probably, though, it's all spelled all fucked up, too.
Yeah.
I'm closer to being an imbecile or maybe even a moron, but personally, I'd rather think of myself as a half-wit or something, and not an idiot. Because when people think of an idiot, more than likely they think of one of them Mongolian idiots. The one with the eyes too close together. What look like Chinamen and drool a lot and play with theyselves. Now I'm slow, I'll grant you that, but I'm probably a lot brighter than folks think. Because what goes on in my mind is a sight different than what folks see. For instance, I can see things pretty good, but when I go to try saying or writing them, like when I try reading them,
it's okay.
It kind of come out like Jello or something. I'll show you what I mean. That's like the first page.
Yeah.
It's all just him calling himself an idiot.
Yeah. The tone of this is not inspiring.
When I was born, my mama named me Forrest because of General Nathan Bedford Forrest, who fought in the Civil War. Mama always said he was akin to General Forrest family some ways, and he was a great man. She say he started up the Ku Klux Klan after the war.
Yeah, well, that's actually in the movie. You know,
your mama really does love your education.
Oh yeah, that scene.
Sally
I watched
Fields.
That. Yeah.
Who
Kurt Cameron. I mean, it's
this
this lasted like what, like
she doesn't like
8
you,
episodes?
She doesn't like me.
This girl means a great deal to me. Like, we speak to each other very seldomly across the hallway. Look at those cars. Oh, he got a job as a janitor. He made his son get a job as a janitor. Because he had paint on his rag. You know that gag?
People are really laughing at that.
Okay, Sunshine,
This is an audience.
Great. Oh, good. Then you're ready for a real challenge. I want you to tidy up room 216.
What's the challenge?
Oh, you'll see.
Oh, that's the guy who shits projectilely.
Who is this fucking Rodney?
She's in a wheelchair?
Is it Jack Klugman?
Yeah.
That can't be Jack Klugman.
Finally, my sandwich.
No.
Look at these characters.
I mean, this is back probably when you could smoke in a hospital.
No.
Can I ask you a question?
Are you my bookie?
Training! You have training! Move, do something!
Bookies don't exist anymore, do they?
I'm sorry.
Not really.
He's a little.
Yeah, I'm blind.
He's the nerd administrator. These characters. I used to think Hello Larry was bad. Hello Larry lasted for over 40 episodes. Like, that's actually kind of a good run.
Oh, 3 seasons.
Yeah. You've got a decent run for 3 seasons.
Help out, will you, nephew? Good. Pull him down on the right.
You want to see what else was on TV this day?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll leave this audio playing in the background.
What football was on?
Let's see. I mean, well, Sunday night, yeah.
Oh, I don't think Sunday Night Football was a thing yet. He just did a fart joke, I think. It sounded like literally sounded like a fart.
Let me know if they're elevated. Okay.
God.
Broncos.
Oh, I remember
Eagles.
listening to this game. I was at a mic here in this game. Oh wow.
Okay, so we have Chiefs at Chargers.
I remember this Sunday night game, Broncos and Eagles in Philly.
So did you bring lunch for Corey, or are you on your way to grandmother's house?
All right, let's get, because this will
In
probably...
the AFC West, like the Chargers were a year ago, the Kansas City Chiefs. But it's been a storybook season for them. Marcus Allen, 16
I think I told you, Keith, that I have the ESPN app. He still does, and it's the exact same thing.
Same lines, everything. Doing that shit.
Really, and he could go all, and I'm like, oh my God. It's like going back into a time machine. It was bizarre.
The Chargers, coached by Let's Go Brandon Staley.
No, I mean, but yeah.
Who says number 13 is unlucky? Not this year.
This is how you got TV parsed out to.
Big Eric Kramer throwing the nature on means.
You had to watch highlight shows. You had to watch highlight, and so
yeah.
and he's still holding on to this. It's bizarre.
They had to give you YouTube.
The Chargers just fumble in the red zone all year long.
Ooh, look at that.
Mark Collins with the hit. But the officials say no.
Fucking look at Marty Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
This team is so good with the turnovers. So without Natron, they give it to Rodney Culver and a 2-yard run on the break and we're tied at 7.
The Chiefs were good this year.
In the second half, the Chiefs
won
lead
this game.
13-7 and Bono. The swing lateral.
Look at
that.
I like that play.
Let's see if we.
That was an exciting play. Oh shit!
It was an exciting play. I got more highlights.
It was the wide receiver pass.
Here, I'll go back.
You know.
In the AFC West, like the Chargers. So good call. Bono says, okay, fine. I'll go back to Lake Dawson to the 1. And 2 plays later, who better?
Marcus Allen.
To find his way in the end zone from short yardage.
Supposedly had sex with Nicole Simpson.
7 Chiefs. Chargers offense struggling all day. Give you 2 reasons why. Derek Thomas, 58.
Fucking dead Derek Thomas.
Yeah. No running game with Means. Big defense by the Chiefs.
My favorite football player in
Natron
all time.
Means.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a blowout.
Yeah. No. I mean, but you're handling.
Oh, look at KC 9-1.
Oh, dude, KC they were the number 1 seed that year. They were the number 1 seed and lost to the Colts.
So do you want to watch the ESPN plays of the week? Do you want to watch Buffalo Bills versus Atlanta Falcons highlights? Inside Winston Cup Racing, 12 November 95.
No. Ooh, how about that CFL game? Pop that on. We won't get dinged for that. This is for the Grey Cup.
Interesting.
The North Final. Oh, this is someone's VHS. This is a VHS problem.
Wow. You know, they talk about Calgary and the ground game, the fact they don't run
Look
the
at
ball.
Flutie.
Oh, look at that.
Doug Flutie.
Ground game,
is the short
The
passing
Calgary
attack
Stampeders.
with the two short backs. Exactly right. They like
Jeff
to
Garcia.
There's Jeff Garcia. Absolutely, it's Jeff Garcia.
Is that the fucking?
It's the Calgary Stampeders. They're like one of the forces of CFL football. I've watched CFL football.
And then the other team is the team. Didn't Warren Moon play for the Edmonton Eskimos?
Yeah, but that was back in the 80s. Yeah, they were great.
I feel like the CFL has just all fucking AstroTurf.
Oh, back in the day it was. It was also it was where like undersized quarterbacks from America went to the CFL.
It's a gain of 77 meters on that one.
No, it was again all undersized collegiate quarterbacks went to the CFL. You know, they weren't big enough to play, but I mean, whatever you want to say about him, man, Flutie can throw the ball. You know.
Here's what I'm gonna do while I look for stuff. I realized I could go into the
Flutie
corner
was like
here.
Flutie was a name, you know, because of that play. You know, against.
Oh, and now had he gone back and forth? This is back into the CFL, right?
Oh
He's
yeah,
done,
yeah. This is
then
post Bears,
and then he comes back out to play for the Bills.
For the Bills, exactly, and also play for the Patriots some too. Like he actually played.
Let's check out this real quick.
He was a good football player.
Raider fans at their finest. Haas. Well, that's not Haas. Here's Haas. He would play with
I remember watching a bit of this.
All hands on deck.
Dallas kicked their ass.
That setup of Fox football, that box score, is like my childhood.
Yeah.
Kevin Harlan calling it. I think this is the first year Fox had the NFL.
Yes, it is.
95.
95. I think it is.
Which was huge for Fox. I talked about this last week.
Yeah.
Before the NFL, Fox was a fledgling. All they had was the X-Files and Married with Children.
Yeah, and Simpsons.
And then they got the NFL, and I think that made them a legitimate television network.
I would agree. That put them in a different strata. Like they had arrived. Like, you know, there was enough space for a different. It wasn't the big three anymore.
Look at the 5-yard separation right there, and look at him close.
That's a nice little zip. Look at Dion. He was so fucking electrifying.
Dude, I told you I saw that 60 Minutes thing of him. You know, he had blood clots in his legs that got removed. He walks around like an 85-year-old man now. I did not like to see that. That really bothered me.
They want him to coach Auburn now and shit.
Yeah, because he's coaching Jackson State. I mean, he's a great salesman.
Fine-looking rookie.
Fucking Neapolitan Harris.
Napoleon Harris.
That's what I used to call him.
Delay, touchdown. It's now a 14-7 game, Tom. What do you have?
Was this fucking when did Jeff George quarterback them?
Oh, it was actually early 90s. This is Jeff Hostetler. Hostetler still had a career.
Because Jeff George being the quarterback of the Raiders is like the first year I started seeing the end. Like I remember Jeff George as the quarterback
because
of the
he had a good arm.
He had a good later end of his career, I feel like.
He came back with the Vikings.
Statistically.
Yeah.
Hand in the shoulder.
When he was with the Vikings, they were 10-2. It was the 99 season. It was after the 98 season, and they still had Randall Cunningham, and Cunningham wasn't good the first several weeks, and they put in George, and he salvaged the season. They were 10-2 their last 12 games, and it was like Moss and I mean, he could get it to Moss and Carter, you know, Jay Novacek. Look at Dallas kicking their ass.
Oh, Dallas would roll people. Oakland was just pitiful.
Yeah.
Really, because they had just gone back to Oakland from LA at this point,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. It was the first year LA didn't have a team when I lived here.
Let's see. Look at fucking Kerry Collins' stoned ass.
Look at his. Oh, is he drooling?
So we're going up a little bit. This is next week, but who knows? We'll take a look at this. The Aints versus the Panthers.
Yeah.
It is quite a homecoming.
Look at Dom Capers.
Yep.
Look at those 90s hats. It's like he's wearing a starter jacket on his head.
Yeah.
Record, 6th win, and incredibly
listen. Mike Patrick is so bad.
Team led by the
and they call another timeout. It's the first half. It's okay.
Yeah, he freaking call it like it's a play.
Oh my God. You know.
Didn't he do Sunday Night Football when it first went to ESPN?
No. I remember him in the Southeast. He would do ACC basketball games in the late 70s.
Do you want to know a golden era of my life? The Jay Fiedler Miami Dolphin games when they would play on Sunday Night Football. And I just remember a specific Dolphin, the Jets-Dolphins game.
Yeah.
When fucking Testaverde, they went back and forth. Jay Fiedler and Vinny Testaverde.
Yeah. The deceased Sam Mills.
I used to, because that was back when when we just moved back to Sauk Village. So I lived down the street from my mom's.
Yeah.
So she was letting me stay at my grandma's on Sundays. And I remember watching those Sunday Night Football games, being able to, because I could stay up late.
Morrow was still the coach.
Oh, yeah. And then listening to Loveline with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew as I slept.
Wow.
That was like Sunday Night Football and Loveline was like my back-to-back on Sunday nights. Yeah.
Doug Bryant was still a kicker.
30-yard line. Butler by Note and
I
Dwight
think Bryant kicked for the Patriots for a while, I think.
I don't even know that name.
Yeah. I could be
Fucking
wrong on that.
Mark Carrier back there receiving kicks.
Yeah, I want to see these names. I just want to see them enough to announce, when they show the starters, the quarterback, I want to see these names. Because it'll be a bunch of cast-offs.
25 to about the 27-yard line.
Tim Biakabatuka.
Take a look at the
Kerry
Carolina
Collins.
offense. Rookie quarterback Kerry Collins took over as the starter in Week 4. He's
From
gone
Penn
5.
State.
You know, this kid's on the dope. Look at his eyes.
Didn't you get a couple
11 interceptions, 9 to 11.
Howard Griffith.
With 42
Mark
catches,
Carrier.
50 during
Walter
his career.
Rasby.
And rookie Blake Brockermeyer has started.
I remember Blake Brockermeyer. He actually had a decent career.
Yeah.
Mark Dennis, Frank Garcia, Curtis Whitley. These are all fucking...
Yeah, I mean...
Hope you kept your fucking guarantee.
Yeah. Okay.
Hope you invested in Enron and then quickly...
It got rid of it. I want to see who's on the Saints defense.
First down, incomplete.
Who's open?
Throwing the slant pattern inside. For New Orleans on defense, Wayne Martin.
So there was Sunday Night Football in 95.
Right, I remember Turnbull.
9 sacks, which is 4th in the
Yeah,
NFC.
there was.
Richard Harvey wasn't even
Rufus Porter. Richard
Rufus
Harvey.
Porter.
Even Richard Harvey, because they always select the top players.
Eric Allen.
Yeah, that was their good guy. Sean Lumpkin.
Eric Allen's still an announcer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they weren't good, though.
When did they get Deuce McAllister?
Like 97, 98. Howard Griffith. He does.
I do remember Mike Ditka trading all their draft picks for Ricky Williams.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big memory of mine.
After this, Griffith actually played for the Broncos. Played for the Broncos when they won their Super Bowls. He was the blocking back for Terrell Davis. He went to
Carolina
Illinois.
put together a nice little team. I think they went to the NFC title game in 96, right?
In the second year of their existence.
The Jags did well, too.
Yeah.
Was it 95 or 96 where the Jaguars beat the Broncos in the playoffs?
They both made a run in the same year. It would have been the 96 year.
Because the AFC title game was the Patriots versus the Jaguars.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember,
and it was Panthers versus
the Packers. The Pack rolled them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, look at that.
The frozen tundra of Lambeau Field.
That's when they won the Super Bowl that year, man.
They didn't have Kevin Green yet, did they?
No,
the Panthers. They got him for 96,
they
right?
96. Yeah, I'm going to be curious to see. I want to see.
Look at those pads.
I want to see the Saint offense and the Carolina defense. I want to see those names too.
I'll tell you, you've got 2 head coaches that
Listen
are
to Theismann.
I mean, just follow the ball, folks. Let's
see what happened here. This is a goofy play.
Collins is back. He goes down. Ball
He's a stoner fucking dopehead. He drops the ball. And then this dopehead drops the ball.
Who's got the ball? Eric Gulliver.
All these youngins are dopeheads. They're all listening to Anthrax.
Play after play, and you really have to count that.
He's been listening to that Van Halen 3 album all week.
There was some good painkiller use going on here.
Toradol just straight to the fucking femoral artery. 10 fumbles. Second nose to fucking Dave Krieg.
You are going up against grown men as a young man, and that is a challenging thing to do.
Ooh, look at that little lollipop.
Well, that's a good little.
He had a weird motion. He had like a really long,
yeah,
not fast motion.
Yep.
Jimmy Spencer,
but he went to a Super Bowl.
Oh, fame! You had a fucking not good career, but like when you're known for being rolled in a Super Bowl, you got to a Super Bowl, but you're most famous for being
Rex Grossman,
bashed in it.
Spencer really never looks back for the ball.
Kirk
now
Cousins
back
this
a little
year.
bit later, but Collins just overthrew it.
I gotta do a quick.
Allen, the Pro Bowler, hasn't had the ball thrown at him very much. That's why he only has 1 interception this season. Go on the ground, and it's Blair Thomas getting his first carry.
Blair Thomas?
Man out of Penn State.
Wow.
One draft choice of the Jets.
Mike, that's what Carolina is going to have to do.
That's
think
a fucking name.
Coming back.
In his rookie year, they've managed to run the football.
Yeah, he was one
well.
of those
Blair
long
Thomas
lists
has
of
been
bust
one of the
Penn
backs
State
that they've
running
used
backs.
as a running
Up there with
back
Curtis
by committee.
Penis?
Various
Curtis
individuals,
Enos.
Anthony Johnson,
Kurt
Bob
Warner was
Christian,
actually
Howard
good back in the
Griffin,
early 80s, but they had a bunch of running. Kajana Carter blew his
they
knee.
really need to establish a run.
Curtis Enos wasn't a big blow to me because that was really before I understood that it was a bust, but it wasn't emotionally impactful to me. Cade McNown was my first
Oh yeah. You thought he was going to be good because he had that great game against the Vikings. He had a weak arm.
I watched him in UC. That was the first year I watched college football.
Yeah.
And I just remember being excited that they're going to draft the guy I just watched in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
To me, that was a big deal.
Absolutely.
They're going to get the hot shit UCL. Troy Aikman played for UCLA.
Absolutely.
I remember that being in the newspapers. They produced Troy Aikman, and this could be another Aikman-esque
bullshit story. You know something? Yeah.
First practice.
Yeah.
I can even probably pull it up on Boers and Bernstein. There's the first radio show where they're the reports are not good.
Really?
And immediately, first day of training camp.
Was the knock on him is that he had a weak arm?
No, I guess he was a dick. It was his contract holdout was a big he held out training camp. And then when he got there, he was terrible. Couldn't learn the playbook. Just was not up to the studs.
Yeah.
As far as being a professional quarterback.
Yeah.
They'll take possession at their own 35.
Yeah, I want to see the offense and see the defense.
Bobby Herbert.
Bobby Hebert is still the
probably
quarterback forever for them. I mean, it's a different guy. He looks
this has to be
Bobby
Deuce.
Hebert.
I bet you it's Deuce and Hebert.
Tackle led by Carlton Bailey.
Come on, get their names up.
Jim Everett.
Jim Everett. Yeah, I knew it was someone different.
That's
he was
fucking
still
Chris.
holding on.
Chris Everett. Is this after he attacked Jim Rome or before?
Lorenzo Neal. Guy. Michael. Irv Smith. That's Irv Smith Senior. That's Irv Smith. That's his name.
Willie Rofe. I know him. Dombrowski.
I remember that name. Yeah. There's a few in there I know. The defense is going to be fun to watch. Sam Mills is on it.
I think they had Mark Carrier too. No, Mark Carrier was on the Bears still.
Everett was still out of career. Jim Everett still out of career.
Carolina's defense, Mike Fox, has been a consistent run stopper. He leads the down
Greg
line
Cragen played for the Broncos.
Gerald Williams, I think, had a Lamar Lathan. Sam Mills. He was unknown. He's not highlighted.
Well, he was with the...
Look at 4 linebackers. What is this, 1920?
For the Panthers,
yeah.
5 interceptions
Tim
tied.
McKyer.
This is back when inside and outside linebacker were legit separate positions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, what's the update? Wesley Walls.
Yeah, I remember him.
I do too.
Already a difference between this game and the last one.
This is very important because Jim Everett
look at
has got to feel
that graphic and stuff. That looks
it's so bare too. There's nothing else around it.
I know, absolutely. I remember that being whoa.
14-7 Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That was the Kotite era, right? 95 or was Gruden? Gruden was the O coordinator, right?
Yeah, he was.
In the first meeting they had,
let's see what the Vikings did this game. I think that they lost. The Vikings lost this game, I believe. Vikings lost
down Saints at the Carolina 45-yard line.
40-37.
Oh,
went to the NHL. Yeah. Maybe they were on Monday.
But Mills was going back. Mills played for the Saints. He played for the Saints in the late 80s. He was going back home.
Oh, so Sam Mills was like a veteran.
Absolutely. But his bust, they have his a statue in front of Carolina Stadium because he embodied the spirit of the Panthers. He died of
Chris Isaac Raw interview.
Wow.
I remember the Chris Isaac show.
What a wicked thing.
Never watched it.
What a wicked thing to do.
All right.
It was like haunting.
So that's all the TV history. Here's what we will close the show on.
Yeah. What a wicked thing to say. That's my Chris Isaac. But I
so here
don't want to fall in love.
So the Dallas Air Show happened today, and this happened.
Oh, that is a problem. That is a problem. Holy, that thing just blew up, man.
Here, Alicia sent me this. I'll go to my Twitter and show you this.
Shit like that happens in Texas.
So there was a guy photographing because he does a blog about flight safety. He took a picture as it collided. Look at this.
Oh man. Those are a couple of old World War II planes, I think.
Yeah, it was the B carrier. They call it the Fortress of the Sky.
Fortress, yeah.
The planes were from Houston. She had taken pictures of the carrier.
I
multiple angles, dude. They got of this.
One of my best friends from Chicago, who I miss, his father
Oh, yeah. Fuck Twitter. It's down. It's going down.
His father was a tail gunner in a flying fortress. His friend of mine, his father was a tail gunner in a flying fortress. He had 38 combat missions, including bombing Dresden.
But I'll be losing us soon, isn't it, son?
So I don't know if we want to ease out here. Put on some. We started with college football. Maybe we can end with college football. Ooh, look at this, bringing it back.
T-Mobile, and you can get iPhone 14 with Apple TV Plus.
Oh, let me tell you some TV League update. I did TV League on Thursday, so I don't really have anything.
Sure.
Night Court is coming back. They're rebooting Night Court.
Wow.
They're doing some. They relisted all the mid-season premieres. Fantasy Island's coming back for a second season. The reboot of that.
Wow. So modernizing it, basically?
Yeah.
For the first year at no cost.
Oh, Quantum Leap is done for.
Really?
Not doing well, the reboot. Wow. And people were cheesing so hard over the pilot.
Yeah.
Because then I don't know if I've talked with this with you. Quantum Leap is deemed racist now. Because he would go back and be like a black guy. Like there is literally, I think, an episode where he has to like sit in a restaurant amongst all the brothers. Hey, brother. And there's like an episode where he's retarded and stuff like that. But I was trying to explain it to her. I was like, but here's what you have to understand about that time. They thought that was being compassionate. Like, we're putting him into this situation of a black man in the 60s.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
But then, like, he literally would rape chicks because he's leaping into someone else's body and then he's like fucking their wives. It's like really in today's times, like you watch it and you're like, whoa, this is hardcore, dude.
Yeah.
But we went pilot for pilot. We like would show a scene from the reboot, a scene from the old one, and I will say the new one does a good job of, it's a continuation. They mention Bakula as like he leaped and just never came back, so this current team is trying to like find him.
Oh, okay.
And then it includes the same thing of like he leaps without telling them.
That's always a motif. What's the finding motif? Is that because of Lost, the TV show Lost?
Yeah.
Because La Brea has that as
and
motif.
They do a good job of working in the woke aspect of it. So you know how the Sam character, the dude who like guides him through his leaps, he's a woman in the reboot, and they do a good job of like, so he leaps without telling everybody. They're at this party and they're just like, oh my god, he leapt, and he doesn't know what the fuck is going on because it's like untested technology.
Yeah.
So she has to be his guide, and he's like, well, like, why don't you just come do it? And she was like, I was supposed to be you and you were supposed to be me. So like they flipped the roles. Like she was supposed to be the fucking Scott Bakula, but he fucking leapt in.
Oh, okay.
So now she has to like be the expert and like be in his ear and guide him through all this shit. Where in the reboot, he was just some cigar smoking philanderer. Who would just fucking kind of wander and let him fucking get into trouble in all these fucking different eras.
Stockwell.
Yeah. Where like the woman was this like, no, I'm going to help you get through these situations. Like if he's like in the first episode, he has to help some dude rob a bank, but he has to do it to convince him not to rob the bank. And she like teaches him how to be a getaway driver and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where like in the old one, he would just been like laughing. This is fun.
Alex Johnson.
Dean Stockwell was in this UCLA team supposed to be pretty good. I tell you who's not
Next
good.
Next week it's USC, UCLA.
I tell you who's not good.
Northwestern.
The University of Wisconsin. They're not good.
And Northwestern. They're terrible.
Terrible. Wisconsin, they're in transition this year. Just like Scott Bakula's mentor is in transition. But
the Cats really got to earn my respect back after this season.
Ooh, yeah,
if they get to a bowl game, I'll like cheer for them, but I think USC has my whole heart for a while.
Yeah, man. You've traded up on that one, Keith. Just to let you know.
Ooh, let me do this right here.
I mean, Northwestern is god awful. They're a bad college football team.
Yeah, they're awful.
Bucky killed them, and Bucky is not. Bucky's quarterback is not good. They don't have a good. I had hopes for him, and he did not develop. Man, they can't develop a quarterback in that program. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
There was no problem here. This was a fantastic show.
Great. It was fun.
2 hours and 20 minutes of usable show. I'll put this up on YouTube. Probably going to have to clear some copyright. 20 minutes of last week's show is copywritten out. That's why you got to watch it on Twitch. Twitch.tv/This is Keith Paesel. Look at all the links down there. Hit me up on the socials. Twitter is dying. You're gay and fat. I'll see you when I see you.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a good night.
Thought that we had gone steady. We're all in container, nothing ever changes. We're all in container,
can we announce we are off the air when we are off the air?